Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Unconquered Podcast Film Session, and we are here watching the Florida State Georgia Tech first quarter. This is going to be just one quarter on this one, and then I'll do another for the second quarter, and if I'm able, I will make it all the way through all four quarters, but doing the best I can here, as I obviously mentioned on the podcast, or will mention on the podcast whenever that releases, that that my wife just had our second child, so everything has been a little bit off of schedule this last week or so. So I'm going to do the best I can here. First good sign, by the way, of some change in culture and everything here is what I like to see is not only the intensity here as guys are thumping. I like that thump. I like what I see here, but these guys are all in their lanes. This is proper lane discipline, and instead of running around here, you get the thump, you get a guy running right to the ball. This is much better play on the kickoff return. Special teams in general, much better in this game. Tell you what, Green can really run. Look at him get down there. Okay, so here we go. Jeff Sims. All right, this is what we're going to see from Florida State pretty much all year. You'll notice their front into the boundary. Here's your Fox. Now, I've said this on the podcast now since the spring, basically, that I think this guy should be Amari Gainer rather than Janarius Robinson. I think this is a mistake not having him there, but essentially you've got in this opening lineup, you've got Janarius and you've got Kendo. I think what they really should be doing is rotating those two guys at this spot and periodically putting Janarius at this spot so that they basically are both getting a bunch of reps, but they're staying fresh at this spot, and then get Gainer and then sometimes Janarius at this spot. But I think they need Gainer's quickness here. Deloach also a starter here, and you'll see as well. You've got actually it wasn't. It surprisingly, contrary to the depth chart, this was Akeem Dent as the starter on the boundary. Now, I did think that the boundary corner was taken advantage of a few times, but overall, not too bad from the secondary. Now, let's take a look here. Now, this is a situation where I actually thought there were times where they were doing too much stunting instead of letting these guys loose. This was a situation along those lines. They're actually trying to do, this is a pretty complex stunt, and I'm not sure that somebody didn't screw this up, because this seems to me, I mean, they're getting two guys stunting over. If this is a first down run to this side, this is going to be a pretty big play, but they're stunting both the tackle and the Fox to the field side, and then working the nose all the way across to the boundary side. And I just think that's a lot to ask from these guys. If you're going to try to get any sort of pass rush here, there's just not much you can do there. So this is asking a lot from those guys. Just let them get upfield and eat. Now, I'd like to see Kendo get free of this block a little bit better there. He's still got to bend a little better than that. He's just long arming and just doesn't have the leverage that I'd like to see there. And this is one of the things that Georgia Tech did really well all game, is that they ran a lot of little shallows, a lot of things designed to get easy throws for Jeff Sims. This is actually pretty good from the backer. This is Warner. Breaks on it, reads the route well. He's checking, he's reading through the receiver to the quarterback. This is good pattern match. He sees the in-breaking route, take it. And from this side, you see Emmett Rice. He's man up here, or match, that is, and he does a pretty decent job there and comes off quickly. Overall, pretty good from the coverage there. This is what you want to see. All right, let's keep moving. So once again, same basic bench front. Now, this is something I didn't like all game. I felt like the corners allowed inside releases too easy on a lot of these routes, and particularly one was able to get free. I mean, he's a big guy. He benches, I think they said 225. He put up like 27 times, which is insane for a receiver. But you can't let him get that free of an inside release here, Hakeem Dent. Your job, you want to steer him a little bit more to the outside and keep your leverage. And it just, he's playing on the inside foot here. This is just too easy to get to your leverage. He's got to protect his leverage. And you notice the feet are dead. This is bad technique from the boundary corner. I want to see Dent's feet chopping, and I want to see him mirroring to the inside there so that he's protecting that inside leverage. He just allows him to just speed release to the inside, and that's not good. Now here they're going to drop the safety, and they've got the buck stepping down. The buck is responding here. This backside safety is actually watching this H-back because he's got number 3 from this side. And when he sees him come across the field in a split zone action, he's going to step down to meet that. He knows that the safety is going to have the top of the screen, anything coming there. Now those guys it's one-on-one. It's just straight match from here. He's going to have a one-on-one here, and he's going to step down. This becomes an RPO for Sims. He's checking. He's watching that boundary safety. They know the tendency here. So as soon as he sees the H, he's got to come up and fill. He knows this. He watches him come up and fill, and now you've got a glance route. And I just feel like this, as big a corner as you are, you've got to be able to mirror this and force him to go over the top of you. And this is a dead in the water play. Instead, Sims is able to get that ball off. Now, I do like that Kaindoh bursts off the block there. I'd just like to see it a little quicker. Does get a hit on the quarterback, but it's just not enough. Dent's got to do better there, though. That's just poor technique. Move your feet. Again, look at the absence of foot movement here on the inside release. Your job is to keep that guy from releasing inside too easily. And also, play through the hands there. I know he's out of phase. That receiver's a big, strong, and very fast receiver, but still, you got to get your hand up as you're going through. Don't just tackle him. Hand up through the hands. You might be able to with the back of your hand, make a play. So I'd like to see just much better mirror technique. It looks like they just are not mirroring well. That's okay, but even here, look at how those feet are stuck in the ground. That's just not good. I want to see more movement there. So here you got a little zone blitz. They're dropping Janarius and they're bringing Deloach, and that's just a really kind of slow blitz from Deloach. I don't like that at all. But Janarius is helpless in coverage here. He's not doing anything. I just make this gainer. He drops back better, and I think you're in better shape. But you're essentially rushing your 3 defensive linemen in the backer. You're depending on the backer to hit this much harder. And Deloach, that's really slow. Like to see Kaindoh actually get off the block there on the outside. This is a poor job by Dent again. He's got help underneath here. His job is to run with the number 1 the whole way. He lets him go. And actually, the thing is, that if that had been a slightly better throw, he might be able to catch this and cut back against the grain, and that's a potentially really big play. Now, I'd like to see 6 get over the top of that just a little better. He's playing a little too far over the top. Now, this is not great technique from Kaindoh here. Notice how he stays square, and this is part of the problem when he gets cheap shotted earlier. They're just running a little slip here. And this is an RPO. They're running the RPO. He's actually reading the end, and when the end comes inside for the contact, that slip comes outside, and then that's an easy one. They got to do a better job on the backside, making sure that they're ready for that. Now, here's where I think they just need to do a lot more of this. This is basically a jet call to the ends. Look at these ends get off the line of scrimmage. Now, if Janarius is doing that, leave him at Fox and stop dropping the Fox and just let him do that and let Kaindoh do this. This is what they need to do right here. Let those guys, turn those guys loose and let them get upfield and rush the passer. And yeah, you're going to get some of these things. That's backwards, by the way. That should not have been blown dead. So he's throwing that from just past the 45, and that's back a full yard. That's not even close. Should have been a turnover right there. That's a scoop and score for Florida State. Poor call. But let them do that. Now, here's what's really concerning and discouraging. This is Marvin Wilson trying to get off a block here. That's just bad. He doesn't just get stalemated here. This is a lost rep one-on-one against a guard for Georgia Tech. If you're a first rounder, you can't let that happen to you. You got to be able to get his hands off of you. Love it as well. That's okay. It's better. But Wilson just gets stood up here. I mean, it's playing patty cake there, and he's getting driven back. That's not good at all. And if that's your best defensive player, you're in trouble. All right, once again, just turn those ends loose. Look how much better they are when you turn the ends loose. So if you've got this personnel on the field, you'd better use it, and instead of dropping those guys or instead of stunting so much, just use the end. Use them, get them up the field, run the jet call. Essentially getting the 8th man up here with Lars Woodby. Good job redirecting. Nice job by 35 here, getting through the mud. Right there, working through the mud, make a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Even better by 1. That's better backer play than what we saw last year. That's pretty good right here, both of these guys. Now, he's washing a little bit too much, but gets downhill, makes the play. Not too bad. And this guy is a stud. First of all, note how easy, there's no doubt he's going to catch it. Just a smooth catcher. And then you see a guy that size, look at the smooth acceleration right there. This is a guy that's, he's going to be special, man. He's mad at himself because if he kept it outside a little bit right there, you make that move on this guy and turn it that way, he knows he's potentially got something to the sideline. So here we're in the opening script offensively, and this is where, Florida State looked the best, was when they were in the stuff that they'd clearly prepared. The problem is that they just don't have everything prepared right now. So you get a little jet motion screen, and this is vintage Mike Norvell. This is what you're going to see a bunch of. Now, I did miss the first drive, by the way, here. So this is just the recording that I have. This is starting from the, I should have mentioned that earlier. This is starting from the rain delay. So we'll get to, we'll get the rain delay. I'll do the pre-rain delay stuff later. But this is still in the opening script here. Get a little jet motion. And again, this is vintage Mike Norvell. They run a ton of screens. They're going to ask the linemen to get out and do a lot out front. This guy right here did a lot in this game to reinforce my high view of him. This is Smith. Watch the center. That's terrific. Foot quickness, mobility, get your hands on a second-level defender. And if Toafili's able to cut off of that with a little bit more speed, this goes a long way. But instead, that's a good hustle play by Georgia Tech. So you got a little check here. And the vintage James Blackman indecision, pump, pull the ball is back. But what I want to call attention to here, the snap comes at 51, right? That's 3 seconds. That's when you're supposed to be getting the ball off. Is 3 seconds is about the length that you're supposed to have it. That's 4 seconds right there. He's had the ball for 4 seconds. That's plenty of time to get rid of it or do something. And he's wanting to go to that in route there. Wasn't a ton there, but man, you just love to see him actually dive and get a little bit more out of this. More screen. Once again, asking those guys to get out and do a lot. You know, you'll notice that that it wasn't the same guys that all released. Again, that's Smith though. Look at that. He's the one that allows this to become a positive play by getting the cutoff underneath. Smith was my lineman of the game for sure. Now this is just basic guard tight end power. That's not bad from. Now Georgia Tech they had some quick ends and they basically tried to run around those pulls. Did a pretty good job of it most of the game. But this is pretty good actually from the guard here from the backside. This is Bavion. It's pretty good. Just get your hands on him so that he can't make the tackle in the hole, and you're fine. Now, this is where having a more physical tight end would really help. Tight end didn't really give you a whole lot here. The other thing that would help here, you want your front side. That's just a poor job from Lucas. His job is to seal this guy down. And just like Marvin Wilson on the opposite side, Lucas loses this rep. Guy gets off of it, is able to make the tackle for a 1 yard gain. A little bit of a lunge here from 76. I'd like to see just a little bit more balance there on the cutoff, but that's not too bad from Washington. Georgia Tech's really well coordinated, really, really well coached overall, both sides of the ball. Man, they had him here, and this was just Terry misreading this. So you got Terry one-on-one with the guy you want him on. Blackman has plenty of time to throw. So let's see, from the time 4:16, 15, 14, throws it right at about 3 seconds. That's fine. And they're bringing 4. No, they're bringing 5. Do a good job getting the protection here. You notice, unlike last year, you're not just seeing guys getting free. Now, Corbin's got to do a better job on the blitz pickup there. But Terry is absolutely in a position where he should be able to win this. Miscommunication on where that ball gets located. I think that's a fine location from Blackman. Terry's got to do a better job of locating that. You can see this. This is well designed. This is designed as a shot. This is a shot to the slot fade the whole way. And they've got slot fades on both sides. So this is basically like a smash concept. So if they're going to give you a one-on-one in the slots, then you're going to take it. If they don't and they drop this guy, then you're going to take the outside. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple concept. And then if there's really nothing there and they do a great job of staying over the top and everything, then you back shoulder that. But this should have been a touchdown. It's just a poor route, honestly, by Terry. Get upfield. You know he's going to throw you out to the numbers, and he's still trying to get over the top to the inside. He's not trying to throw it to your inside. He's throwing it to the outside. That's what he's supposed to be doing. And then you have Warren Thompson up to the top. He's covered a little better. That's a better cover guy there. But Thompson ultimately would have had a pretty good play as well. So there's plenty of space here for this to be, should have been a touchdown. Again, good play call, poor execution, and that's on the receiver. So here, once again, they're bringing pressure. And this is one of the great things about Norvell's offense is that there are easy checkdowns built in. They bring 6. And the back who ordinarily would block this edge rusher just leaks out, and now he becomes an easy first down target. Check down, you get 15, 20 yards. Not going to go broke doing that. And this is one where his job is supposed to peel if he doesn't get blocked. So, that's taking advantage of a tendency there that the guy may have shown in previous year. Not too bad. Once again, plenty of time. Ball snap with 48. That's 3 seconds. Got 4 seconds, and everybody's covered. So this is night and day offensive line. Now, Georgia Tech's defensive line isn't great. They were poor last year. But even against poor defensive lines, this is a major improvement over last year. Now, Love Taylor, little hold there probably. Could have called that. Yeah, I'd probably called that. And he's getting bullied a little bit, but that's what you're expecting kind of from him. But this is really good from Washington. I'll take that. Really good feet, good hand placement. They're doing work here. It's pretty good. Get rolling, and all of a sudden there's a penalty. Or all of a sudden there's an injury, that is. So now you're going to get this little work across the formation, and this is one of those things where it is what it is. Sometimes there's going to be some of these issues in the first year in particular, and everybody but the center's moving. So something went wrong there. So now you're playing behind the sticks. It's exactly what you're trying to avoid. Now they're going for a shot here. They're trying to hit Corbin one-on-one. That's not Corbin. That's Webb. They're trying to hit Webb here, trying to get him up inside. Nothing there. Terry comes to the sticks. Not too bad. They were trying to take advantage of that little matchup underneath and get a play to the back. Love Taylor once again didn't really do his job here. This is where he was definitely the weaker of the two tackles. Now that said, Webb, this is where the chip can kind of hurt you. Webb actually throws his balance and actually is the one that gets Blackman hit here. The back is sifting, and he's got to take the inside guy here, but he's got to do it without touching his own guy and affecting his balance. But this is 3rd and 8, and it's a good concept. Again, plenty of time. Offensive line, no leaks inside. This is really good. I mean, this is super encouraging if you're watching this going, yeah, they're well coached inside. And this isn't a bad throw. It's okay. You've got to make that catch. And they really need to have a signal where a receiver, if it's even close, that they hurry up that and get it off even faster than this. They wipe this off, go back and review, and they're right. He didn't catch it. It's one of several drops for Thompson on the day. He had those problems in practice all year last year. And Growthhouse from the right hash. He had some issues from the right hash, and this is not where he's comfortable. You can see it on the later kick. Did a good job here. He was not the guy who won the kicking competition coming into the coming out of the preseason, however. So that's something that'll change once Fitzgerald no longer has the coronavirus. Now this, I know it's a true freshman at Mike here. You've got to make this tackle. Now what I like is look how quickly he triggers. Pretty good from Cooper here, taking on the center, moves the line of scrimmage backwards a little bit. 55 gets washed too much, but you're right in position to make that tackle. You got to make that tackle. That's a 1 yard loss. All of a sudden, it's first down. And I'm not as big a fan of 39 as a lot of people. Hopefully you can get a good amount out of him in his career, but I think he kind of is what he is in terms of ceiling and all that. He's not gonna be a guy that you hope is gonna be a 4-year starter or 3-year starter at that spot. Plenty strong though, that's obvious. Just like to see him with a little more burst there. Now this is Gainer, and you can see that. This is why I think Gainer is really the guy that you need to have on the edge. The quickness, and this is the same blitz that you saw from Deloach earlier, where he was kind of tiptoeing. This is what you want. Take care of business, get in there, take care of business. He needs to be on the field, and he needs to be moving forward. He really looks good moving forward. Once again, I like how quickly Dix triggers downhill here. What I don't like is how easily he gets washed downfield here. That's 55's got to not get washed. Now, here's where if you don't have your first ends on the field, your Fox or your defensive end, if you don't have Kando or Robinson on the field, there's no pass rush from the edge. Now, this isn't bad from Durden. That's pretty good. And Cooper's never going to be a guy that's going to be a speed rusher, but he's compressing the pocket. That's fine. But you can't get bumped out of your lane like this, and now you're letting a quarterback get moving. Pretty good tackle there by Gainer. Open field. And once again, this is just mesh. They're just trying to run a little pick route, and the guy who set the pick actually ends up being the one. Guy who set the rub is actually the one who gets open here. So you see him running straight at Dent, who's trying to trail across the field, but they do a good job of matching, and this is where the linebackers have made good progress. They're doing a good job of matching across the field as they see this. Guys coming into your zone, pass him off, work to the next guy. That's pretty good. Problem is that there's one match that's missed right here. This is the young defensive unit, and you can kind of tell that there's a little bit, they're just a little slower to process. So we are now to the second quarter. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and I'm going to pick back up with this in the next video. I'll have another video as well for first quarter pre-rain delay.